So last year, Honor really impressed with their Honor 50 mid-range phone, and I gotta say this year they've done the same thing. I'm really impressed with what they've brought to the table. This year, we've got the Honor 70. It's full of flagship features at a pretty mid-range price point if you ask me. Skipping past all the YouTuber fluff, let's get into the unboxing. So it's a pretty standard box. It feels very similar to the time I unboxed my Note 10 Plus, to be honest. And there it is, the Honor 70 in all its glory. Gorgeous design. They say the camera rings are actually inspired by luxury jewelry. Very fancy indeed. There's definitely a bit of something about this design and the color choice. I like how they've gone for a more matte look this year. I found the design and glossy back of the Honor 50 very impressive last year, but the matte finish on this one just has a bit more of a mature feel to it, while still keeping the wow factor about it with a stunning emerald green color. I also like how they have the text on the back there. It weirdly does add something to the phone. It gives it a sort of minimal vibe, I guess you could say. So if you want to get your hands on one of these, it will set you back around £479 in the UK or $429 if you're in the US. Now, just pausing on the actual phone for a second, one thing that I absolutely loved about the Honor 50 when I unboxed it last year, and equally love about the Honor 70, is the fact that Honor actually include a silicone case with the phone. Now, it's nothing special, I'll tell you that, but as a freebie just to get you going with your phone straight away, I think it's a really nice idea. They also ship the Honor 70 out with a pre-installed screen protector. Again, just one of those things that just lets you enjoy the phone that little bit quicker. And if that wasn't enough, you actually get a wall socket included in the box, something many bigger brands like Samsung and I think even Apple now have stopped doing, and it's actually kind of a good one. It's a 66 watt charger and can charge your Honor 70 up from 3% all the way up to 60% battery in just 20 minutes. Now, there really isn't much more to go over with the unboxing. We don't really want to look at all the manuals and warranty cards, so let's move on to the Honor 70 itself and get it turned on. So I want to focus in on the display. Now, I was instantly very impressed. It's very bright, punchy, and even has a 120Hz refresh rate, which is great to see on a mid-range phone. So this display is a 6.67-inch OLED 58-degree curved display featuring HDR10 Plus certification and 100% DCI-P3 color gamut coverage. Very impressive, and you know, seeing through the lens of my camera really will not do it any justice, but let me tell you, from my perspective, this is a really good phone display. I've had a go at playing a couple of games and watching some videos, and it's just so crisp and vibrant. And I'll also say the display is a really comfortable size. The phone is easy to grip, it's comfortable in the hand, and the screen is ample big enough for some decent media consumption. And whilst we're talking about the display, it's really worth giving a shout out to the Honor 70's performance here. Again, I feel like it does a stellar job for its price point. It runs Genshin Impact without any issues at all. Inside, we have got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G plus 5G SoC. That gives a 40% CPU upgrade over the old 768G chip. And from the benchmarks I've seen, it's in line with or even beating the old top of the range chip. So really not a bad chip at all if you want to be doing a bit of gaming. Now, if you are buying this phone for some gaming, Honor have also brought out some additional features to help boost your performance when in game. One of those things is the Honor GPU Turbo X Boost, giving you that little bit extra power just to help your games run that little bit smoother. Anyway, moving on, one slight issue I had with the Honor 70 when it comes to media consumption is the speakers. It has one rear firing speaker, and you know, it's not bad, but it's also not great either. I didn't find it to get as loud as some of my other phones, and I think the fact that there's just one singular speaker located on the right hand side of the base of the phone, I felt all the sound was very dominant on one side. It's certainly fine for playing a bit of music, doing casual things, but it's definitely not the best out there for speakers. Now, while we've got her on her back, let's just take a good old look at the design of the Honor 70 again. So not far away from the speakers, we've got your USB Type-C port in the middle, then you've got your SIM tray, very similar to the Note 10 Plus actually. Then on the right hand side, you've got your very thin volume rocker and your power button just below that. If you're wondering about the fingerprint reader, that's actually located underneath the display. One thing that I've always liked about the Honor phones is the fact that the fingerprint scanner actually lights up when you're using it. Some people could see this as a bit of a gimmick, but I actually kind of like it because it shows that, you know, it's working. And whilst on the subject of the fingerprint fingerprint reader, it is ample fast enough, and I've only added one finger, or thumb I should say, just once, and I hadn't had a single failure yet, so it's pretty reliable in comparison to some of the other phones that I've tested, especially when it comes to under-display fingerprint readers. Anyway, continuing on with the design, we've got two giant camera rings on the back. My concern with these huge modules was that there would be a massive amount of table wobble when typing, but you know what? It's so much better than my Fold 3. I think that the cameras being so large and spread out, it actually helps balance the phone a little bit. Overall, there hasn't been any huge changes since last year's Honor 50 design-wise, aside from the material finishes and some subtle tweaks to modernize the Honor 70. I for one really appreciate the design, but question of the day, what do you think of the Honor 70's design? Does it tickle your fancy? Now, getting onto the huge ass elephant in the room, the Honor 70's camera modules, and well, they are huge, but also rather impressive. This year, the Honor 70 is boasting some rather impressive camera specs, those being a 54 megapixel IMX800 super sensing main camera, 50 megapixel ultra wide and macro main camera, 2 megapixel depth camera, 32 megapixel super clear selfie camera. Now, based off the clarity and resolution alone, the camera setup on this is flagship killing. I feel compared to some of my Samsung phones, it just blows them out the water, even my latest Fold 3 in picture quality. Colors might not be as on point, but that being said, Samsung tend to have this oversaturated, super vibrant look, which, don't get me wrong, makes a pretty picture, but it's not great for those who want a little bit more control over their images. With the Honor 70's photos, I feel like I'm getting a little bit more control, a bit more of a raw image. I have been showing off some of the pictures I've been taking with the Honor 70, but I really want to tip my hat to that macro lens. I really found it to be pretty fantastic, if I'm honest, and compared to other phones, again, that I've tested with macro lenses, they tend to be awfully pixelated, really low resolution. This looks like I've actually taken it with a DSLR camera with a dedicated macro lens, and I could not be more impressed. With these impressive camera specs and a couple of other features, I deduced that the Honor 70 is the perfect phone for content creators. There's even a built-in mode called multi-video where you can see both the front and rear cameras at the same time. This will be great for vlogging and especially streaming. And before we move on, we haven't really focused too much on the front camera. It is a notch again, no under display camera this year, but it is really good. It's so sharp, and I feel like the colors there are pretty well balanced with it. Again, comparing it to some of the other flagship phones I own or have owned, I really do think it's better in quite a lot of ways. We have also yet to mention the video capabilities of the Honor 70. Another reason why I think the Honor 70 is the perfect vlogging / content creator phone. It has up to 4K 30 FPS capabilities, and boy does it look good. Additionally, you can also make use of the slow-mo features and record in 1080p 60 FPS if you so desire, which will be more than enough for most people. To be honest, you can make any camera look good with good composition and lighting, but the Honor 70 really does make that whole process effortless. Now, whilst we're in the camera settings, it's worth paying attention to the Honor 70's UI and OS. It's running on Magic UI 6.1, which is quite obviously Honor's own UI, a bit like how we have One UI for Samsung. It works really well. The gestures do take some getting used to, I will be the first one to admit that, and they're not always as snappy and fluid as I'd like, but I do very much believe that's because I've been using a Samsung phone for the past 5 years or so now, so at least for now, I have no doubt some of you will prefer Honor's gestures. There are a couple of cool features that come with Magic UI as well, including multi-window mode, and you also have pop-out windows similar to what Samsung have as well. It's all very familiar, it's very easy to get used to, especially if you've used any modern Samsung phone over the past couple of years. Now, one other small gripe I have with the Honor 70 is the default home screen settings. You'll notice there is no app tray on this, and I find that awfully frustrating. However, this can be enabled in your settings like so, which is great, but even still, I think the design of the app tray could have had a little bit of extra something added to it. Now, the Honor 70 might still be on the expensive side for some of you out there, so I do have a solution for you. Do check out my review in the top right hand corner now for the Honor 50. That is coming in a little bit cheaper these days, and I personally think it's still a great deal. If you do have a bigger budget and want to check out some of the older folding phones like the Fold 3, also I'll leave a link in the bottom right as well. For now though, I've been Alex, this has been Take It Easy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.